Welcome back to Everyday English 15. I'm Noah.
And I'm Ellie. Today we're tackling a huge topic, something everyone asks and everyone has to answer. So, what do? We're going to teach you how to talk about your job in English.
Exactly. That question can cause so much stress for English learners. But don't worry, by the end of this episode, you're going to feel so much more confident. We'll give you the words, the phrases, and the confidence to answer like a pro.
We sure will. Let's start with the absolute basics. The first, most simple way to say what your job is.
Okay, the easiest formula is I'm a or I'm an plus your job title. It's simple, direct, and perfect for almost any situation. For example, I'm a teacher.
Right. Or I'm an engineer. The most common mistake learners make here is forgetting a or an. You can't just say, I'm engineer. It needs that article.
That's such a crucial point, Ellie. It's a small word, but it makes a huge difference in sounding natural. Another great option, which is slightly more formal, is I work as a graphic designer.
I work as a. I like that one. It sounds very professional. But what if the company you work for is more important or more well-known than your specific job title?
Great question. In that case, you can focus on the company. You can say, I work for Google, or I work at the local hospital.
Okay, so what's the difference between work for and work at? I feel like people use them interchangeably.
They often do, but there is a slight difference. I work for emphasizes who your employer is. I work for a big tech company. But I work at usually emphasizes the place. I work at the university downtown.
That makes total sense. And of course, you can combine these, so you could say, I'm a software developer at Microsoft.
Perfect. And if you want to get even more specific, you can add your department. The phrase for that is in the blank department. For example, I work in the marketing department.
So let's try to build a full, super detailed sentence. I work as a financial analyst for an investment bank in the mergers and acquisitions department.
Wow, that sounds very impressive. But what if your job isn't that simple? What if you don't have a clear one-word title?
Yeah, that's a common situation these days. In that case, you can talk about your industry or your field. You can say, I work in, and then the field. For example, I work in healthcare, or I work in education.
Right. I work in sales, I work in IT, I work in fashion. It's a great general answer if you don't want to get into the complicated details of your exact title.
Totally. And let's not forget people who might not have a traditional job. You can be a student, a freelancer, or maybe you're not working right now. For those, you can say, I'm a university student, or I'm a freelance writer.
And if you're not currently working, a really positive and professional way to say it is, I'm currently between jobs. It sounds so much better than just, I'm unemployed.
Oh, 100% between jobs. Or another great one is, I'm currently exploring new opportunities. It makes you sound ambitious and in control.
Okay, so you've nailed the first part. You've stated your job title or your situation. But the conversation doesn't end there. The next question is always, oh, interesting. What does that involve?
Right. This is where you need to describe your responsibilities. And a lot of learners get stuck here because they're trying to translate directly from their own language.
Yeah, don't do that. Let's give you some easy structures. A fantastic one is, I'm responsible for, and then a verb ending in ing. For example, I'm responsible for managing a small team.
I love that one. It's so versatile. I'm responsible for writing reports. I'm responsible for organizing events. Another similar one is my job involves, also followed by an ing verb.
Yes, my job involves talking to customers. Or if you want to be even more direct, you can just use simple, strong action verbs in the present tense. I manage a team. I design websites. I analyze data.
That's my favorite, actually. It's so clear and confident. I teach English to adults. I develop new marketing campaigns. I prepare legal documents. It's straight to the point.
Exactly. Let's brainstorm some more powerful verbs for different professions. What about a manager, Ellie? What could they say?
A manager could use words like I oversee or I'm in charge of. For example, I oversee the daily operations of the store. Or I'm in charge of 3 major projects.
Oversee and in charge of are brilliant. They really show leadership. Okay, my turn. What about someone in a customer-facing role, like customer service?
They could say, I assist customers with their problems, or I handle customer inquiries. Handle is a great verb, or a common phrasal verb is deal with. I deal with customer complaints.
Yes, deal with is very natural. A more positive way to phrase it could be, I'm the first point of contact for our clients. It makes the role sound very important.
I love that. It's all about how you frame it. You're not just answering questions, you are managing client relationships. It's about choosing language that presents you in the best possible light.
Exactly. A key piece of advice is to think about your 3 main responsibilities. Don't list 20 things, just pick the 3 most important and prepare a simple sentence for each one.
That is such good advice. Preparation is everything. If you have those 3 sentences ready in your mind, you'll never feel panicked when someone asks.
Let's do a quick example. Imagine you're a social media manager. What would your 3 sentences be?
Okay, if I were a social media manager, I'd say, I create and schedule content for our social media channels. I also interact with our online community and respond to comments. And finally, I analyze the performance data to see what's working.
Boom! Perfect. Clear, concise, and gives a complete picture of the job. You see, it's not so scary when you break it down.
Not at all. And all this advice is designed to help our listeners feel more empowered and less alone on their English journey.
Speaking of helping people, we're trying to help as many learners as we can, and we'd love your help to do that.
That's right. If you're finding this podcast useful, you will love our YouTube channel. We post short, focused video lessons that complement what we talk about here, often with visuals and text on screen to help you remember.
It's super helpful for visual learners. All you have to do is search for Everyday English 15 on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. It's free and it's a huge way to support the show.
It really does help us keep making this content for you all, so please take a second to do that. Okay, sales pitch over, let's get back to it.
Okay, next section. Let's talk about giving your opinion. How to say what you like and what you maybe don't like about your job.
Let's start with the positive. If you love your job, you can of course just say, I love my job, or I really enjoy my work. Simple and effective.
But it's better to be more specific. What exactly do you enjoy? A great phrase for this is, the best part of my job is, and then you explain what.
Ooh, I like that. For example, the best part of my job is the people I work with. Or the best part of my job is solving complex problems.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of other fantastic words you can use are rewarding and challenging. You could say, my work is very rewarding. Rewarding means it makes you feel good, usually because you're helping people or creating something meaningful.
That's a great one for nurses, teachers, or social workers. And challenging is also a positive word in a work context. You can say, it's challenging, but I enjoy it. It shows that you like to learn and grow.
Totally. It implies that you're not bored. Now, for the tricky part, what if you don't like your job? You can't just say, I hate my job, especially in a professional or formal setting.
No, definitely not in a job interview. You need to be more diplomatic, more polite. So instead of, my job is boring, what could you say?
A great alternative is, the work can be a bit repetitive. The phrase a bit softens the criticism. Or you could say, to be honest, it's not very stimulating. Stimulating means interesting and thought-provoking.
Not very stimulating is a brilliant phrase, very professional. What if the problem isn't the work itself, but the environment or the people?
Okay, if you don't like your boss, you could say, my manager can be quite demanding. Demanding is a good word that means they expect a lot from you. Again, you're not saying, my boss is a monster.
Right, it's much more diplomatic. If the problem is the general atmosphere, you could say, the company culture isn't the best fit for me. That's a very polite way to say you don't get along with your colleagues or agree with the company's values.
That's a great one. Another common complaint is about long hours or too much work. For that, you could say, the hours are quite long, or the workload is very heavy.
Or a phrase that everyone understands is, the work-life balance isn't great. This means you spend too much time working and not enough time on your personal life.
Yes, the key here is to be honest but professional. You are expressing dissatisfaction without being complaining or too negative.
It's such an important skill to have, not just in English, but in any language. Let's shift gears now to a very specific and often very scary situation where you absolutely have to talk about your job.
Oh, yes, the job interview, the ultimate test.
It really is. So you'll be asked questions like, tell me about your most recent role, or why did you leave your last job?
Okay, for tell me about your role, you need to combine everything we've talked about, but make it about achievement. Don't just list your duties, list your accomplishments. The key is to use strong, confident action verbs in the past tense.
Yes, and quantify your achievements whenever possible. Numbers are your best friend in an interview. So don't say, I was responsible for sales. Say, I increased sales by 20% in my first year.
That is so much more powerful. Instead of I managed the team, say I led a team of 5 people and we successfully launched the new product on time and under budget.
Exactly. Use verbs like I improved, I developed, I created, I managed, I led, I negotiated. These are words that show you take initiative and get results.
Okay, now for the really tricky one. Why are you leaving your current job? What's the number one rule here, Ellie?
Rule number 1, 2, and 3, never, ever, ever speak badly about your previous company, boss, or colleagues.
The golden rule. It just makes you look unprofessional and negative. Instead, you need to frame your answer about the future and what you're looking for.
Exactly. Focus on your own growth. You can say something like, I'm looking for a new challenge, or I'm eager to find a position where I can grow my skills in a specific area.
That's perfect. It shows ambition. Another great line is, my current role has been a fantastic learning experience, but I feel I'm ready to take on more responsibility.
Brilliant. It's positive about your past, but focused on the future. The interviewer will love that. Okay, what about the classic questions about strengths and weaknesses?
For strengths, you should name a relevant skill and then crucially give a specific example. Don't just say, I'm a good team player.
Right. You should say, I believe I'm a strong communicator. In my last job, I was chosen to present our team's findings to the leadership committee each month, which helped secure funding for our projects.
That's a perfect answer. It's the STAR method in action. Situation, task, action, result. We should do a whole episode on that one day.
We totally should. Now for the one everyone hates, what is your greatest weakness?
The worst. The old advice was to say something that's secretly a strength, like, I'm a perfectionist, or I care too much. But recruiters are tired of hearing that.
They see right through it. The modern approach is to be honest about a real but minor weakness and then show what you are doing to improve it.
Okay, give me an example of a good answer.
You could say, historically, I haven't always been comfortable with public speaking. However, I recognized this was a crucial skill, so I recently joined a public speaking group to build my confidence. It's really helped me improve.
That is a fantastic answer. It shows self-awareness, honesty, and a proactive attitude. It's so much better than, I work too hard.
Right? It turns a negative into a real, tangible positive. It shows you're committed to self-improvement.
Ooh, okay. My brain is full of professional English. I think we've given our listeners an amazing toolkit for these formal situations. Can we talk about something silly now?
Yes, please. Let's switch to some more casual banter. Question for you, Noah. What is the weirdest or most unusual job you've ever heard of?
Ooh, that's a fun one. I once read about a professional mattress jumper. Their job was literally to jump on new mattresses to test them before they were sold.
Shut up. That's a real job. That's what every 5-year-old wants to be when they grow up.
Apparently so. I think my dog, Mookie, would be excellent at that job. He does it for free on my bed every morning. What about you?
I think the weirdest I've heard of is a snake milker. They extract venom from poisonous snakes to be used for making antivenom.
Nope, absolutely not. That is my nightmare job. I would rather be a mattress jumper, thank you very much.
Me too. I can't even imagine. Tinkerbell, my cat, would just look at the snake with disdain and walk away. She's not easily impressed.
Smart cat. So, speaking of dream jobs and nightmare jobs, you love cooking so much. If you weren't doing this podcast, would you want to be a professional chef?
I've definitely thought about it. I watch all those cooking shows and think I could do that. But honestly, I think the pressure would be too much. It's so intense in a professional kitchen.
Right, all the shouting and the tight deadlines.
Exactly. For me, cooking is relaxing. It's my yoga. It's how I de-stress after a long day. I think if it became my job, it might lose that magic. I don't want to turn my hobby into a high-pressure career.
That's a really good point. I feel the same way about sports. I'm a huge sports fan. I love traveling to see games, but could I be a sports journalist? I don't think so.
Oh, why not? You'd be great at it. You know so much.
Thanks, but it's the lifestyle. The constant travel sounds fun, but it's not the fun kind of travel. It's airports, hotels, press conferences. You don't really get to explore. And I'd miss my dog Mookie way too much.
That's sweet. It's funny how it all comes back to work-life balance, which is a phrase we were just talking about. It's about finding a job that doesn't just pay the bills, but also fits into the life you want to live.
100%. And being able to talk about that job and your feelings about it is such a huge part of feeling confident and integrated, both at work and in your social life.
It really is. Well, I feel like we've covered a ton of ground today. Should we do a super fast recap of the most important phrases?
Let's do it. Lightning round.
Okay, to state your job title,
I'm a teacher. Or I work in marketing.
if you describe what you do,
I am responsible for managing projects. Or my job involves talking to clients.
to say you like your job,
I find my work really rewarding. Or the best part of my job is the creative freedom.
to politely say you don't like your job,
The work can be a bit repetitive. Or the work-life balance isn't great.
and in a job interview, when talking about past roles,
Use strong action verbs and numbers. I increased efficiency by 15%.
we really hope this episode has been helpful for all of you. Remember that language learning is a journey, and it's completely normal to feel nervous. Nobody is perfect, and the key is just to try.
Absolutely. The best piece of homework we can give you is to practice. Take one or two phrases you learned today and try to use them. You can practice with a friend, write them down, or just say them out loud to yourself. Or to your dog.
Yes, I can confirm that my cat Tinkerbell has heard all about my responsibilities and finds them very, very boring. But she's a great listener.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Everyday English 15.
We'll catch you in the next one. Bye, everyone.